Okay. Then there's systems theory, and that's kind of what we're talking about, how the whole system fits together, right? And then contingency theory, a view that argues that appropriate managerial action depends on the particular parameters of the situation. It depends on the situation, right? And emerging values, which is the Z theory we're going to look at. Okay, I just wanted to show you that because that's going along with what the book says. Now Z, what is Z theory? Did you guys see that in here somewhere?
I'm going to just read it here. It says a concept that combines positive aspects of American and Japanese management into a modified approach aimed at increasing U.S. managerial effectiveness while remaining compatible with the norms and values of American society and culture.
Okay, so that doesn't mean a whole lot right now to you, right? But did you read it? Did you understand things about it? Do you have a feel for it? Japanese culture is high on quality. Well, let's talk about this for a second. We're not going to make a big dent in all this material tonight, so we're going to have to look at it next week too. But here's a way to think about it. World War II happens. What did our country look like? A lot of farms, right? A lot of people starting to build industry. Who made up the workforce before World War II? Okay, men. And they were craftsmen. They weren't highly educated. They were just they were craftsmen. And they were apprentices, and they had a whole system set up, and they just knew their craft. World War II happens. What happened to the men? The people who could fight did fight. So what happened to industry?
Women had to work.
Okay. The situation changed. Took women out of the home and off the farm and put them into a manufacturing facility. Did our manufacturing needs go up or down? It went way up because we had to build this war machine, right? What was the motivation of the women in the workforce? To provide for the family. To provide, was that important? Provide supplies. Why? Patriotism is a small part of it. I mean, that's an important part. Why was patriotism important? Why were the women patriotic at that time?
They were young.
Okay, bring their fathers home, bring their sons home, bring their husbands home. If you made a mistake building an aircraft, what happens to the person flying that? Is that person related to you? What happens if you make a mistake building torpedoes? What happens to your son who's on the ship? Yeah, he dies. So can you imagine this fairly highly motivated workforce? But can you also imagine it's a fairly immature workforce as far as the amount of experience they have? Can you imagine that they're not highly crafted yet? So what was the response to that group of people? We have to build a structure that is highly proceduralized so that you follow procedures. We even segment work more. I mean, Ford did this earlier, but you have a specific job. If you're building a car, it takes a lot of expertise, but if you're just tightening a couple bolts, it takes less, right? So that's the way all industry was. Segment the work down even more, proceduralize it even more, and get more Theory X managers to show you how to do it. Now, and they know you're motivated, but they're trying to show you how to do it in a quicker way. What's the acceptance of the women in this environment? They're highly motivated. They're worried more about their family, worried more about their I mean, everybody in the U.S. lost somebody in their family. You know, maybe immediate family, maybe extended family, but you know somebody that's lost everything.
It's their part of the war effort.
Right.
They were in war.
Right.
They were going.
Right. And I don't want to downplay patriotism because it's real high, but I wanted to give you the motivation of you're a woman and you're going to lose the people you love most unless you You know, your part in this is going to make your family survive. So you're highly motivated, right? How many people died the first day of D-Day? 10,000, 20,000? How many people died every day after that, going all the way up to Nazi Germany? 1,000 a day? You look at some of the battles, and there's 10,000 people dying, Marines, and so, I mean, can you imagine that environment where we are now? I mean, that's just a whole different environment, right? Okay, part of it has a lot of other reasons. Okay, so now we won the war. What happened? What happened to the women? Men came home, women went back home. Was this a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Okay, you're saying it's a bad thing. At that time, was it a good thing or a bad thing?
Probably a good thing at that time.
Yeah, because most of the time the women wanted to be at home with their family and taking care of things, and most of the time the men wanted to be. Now, where did that come from?
Thousands of years of the patriarchal society.
Well, I mean, you know, there's all kinds of things. There's biblical things. There's all kinds of stuff, but that's the culture, right? And so it wasn't necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It wasn't like, you know, women are inferior and men are superior. It was like there's different needs and you're outfitted to do different things at that time. You know, that's the way I looked at it. So it wasn't necessarily, I mean, some women wanted to work, right? And some women did not want to work. Some men came back injured, but the men came back willing to take orders. Why? That's right, because they were in survival situations. Someone told them what to do every moment, and they had to do it because their buddies were dying if they didn't. So now they walk into an environment where there's highly proceduralized environment, very segmented, whole different environment than when they first came in, but it didn't really matter because they're unskilled workers again. They're great Marines, but they didn't know how to put a car together. They forgot all that stuff, you know, as much. So now they're back in unskilled workers. So it fit right into this environment. They're used to giving orders, saluting. So what happened? They fit right in. Now, that's great for unskilled workers, but think about today. Do knowledge-based workers fit into that environment? No. So the more education you get, the more you expect to use that education. So can you see the clash in society, what was going on? They're stuck in this highly proceduralized manufacturing environment. As knowledge workers, they want to use their brain. The more education you get, the more you want to use your brain, right?